could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Pastor Brian Saya Richard Fifita.
So what obstacles are there right now when it comes to youth and young adults of the Tongan Church? What do you think is preventing or stopping them from being more involved with the church? What are some from your experience? What do you think are some of those holdbacks?
I think it's obvious now and evident now, much more obvious and evident now. It's the language barrier. The generation now have a language issue for understanding when they are sitting inside a church, in a Tongan church, being brought up overseas, whether in Australia, New Zealand or America. From day one they've been speaking in English at school, at home, and attending a Tongan school, attending a Tongan church, and just sitting there and not understanding fully. They pick up on some words, but still they don't have the full message on Sundays when they go to church. It's a language barrier.
Now, do you go to a Tongan or English church?
I go to a Tongan church.
You do? Okay, so what's the name of your church?
Tokai Kolo.
Can you tell me what Tokai Kolo means?
I don't really know.
You're not really sure? Okay. What is the statement of beliefs for the Tokai Kolo church?
Jesus.
Jesus? Okay. Not bad. What does whakavahe whanua mean?
I don't.
You're not really sure? So if you had an opportunity to learn what all of those things mean, would you be interested?
Yes.
You would. What church do you go to?
Tokai Kolo Christian Church.
Nice. Can you tell me what Tokai Kolo means?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Okay. How long have you been going to that church?
My whole life.
Your whole life. Okay. What is the statement of beliefs for the Tokai Kolo church?
Our salvation in Christ and to save as much as possible.
I see. So I hear that the Tokai Kolo church has an aptanga like every year. What's the whole purpose of aptanga? What does that mean?
It's almost like a family reunion, but for our church.
Nice.
And we gather together for our conference to bring in the new year, in my opinion, and to prep all the pastors and the rest of the church.
Okay.
For the new year that's coming.
Nice. Now, can you tell me, I've heard of the word inasi. What does inasi mean?
I've heard it many times. Honestly, I don't know what it means.
Okay. What about misinale?
Oh yes, it's like a fundraiser to help out for our church.
Okay, very nice. Now, would you be interested in a podcast that explains some of these things?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, great. Can you tell me what is your understanding of misinale? Like, what does misinale mean?
From my understanding, Missionale, I guess, is a community that gathers and bring all money to a pot and to help out for a church event.
Ah, nice.
Right.
Okay, so then what does inasi mean?
I really don't know.
Okay, that's okay. Do you know what does the word Tokai Kolo mean in Tongan?
I do not know either.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Do you know what apitanga? What is the whole purpose of apitanga? What does that mean?
I do not know the purpose of it. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I appreciate you answering questions today on the
I'm not
spot.
the only Tongan that is here.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
You're right. You're right about that.
Hi, my name is Vaine.
Hi, Fanny.
Hi.
Where are you from?
I'm from Australia with a Tongan background.
Tongan background. So do you speak Tongan fluently? Like
Yes.
read, write, and speak?
Yes, I do.
Wow, that's impressive. Which language are you most comfortable speaking?
English.
English.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you currently listening to any podcasts? And if you are, what types of podcasts are you listening to?
No, no podcast.
Now, what if we were to tell you that there would be a podcast that's targeting specifically the Tongan young adults and youth within a Tongan church, especially Tokai Kolo, and then we get to talk about different, it's not controversial, but it's really to gain understanding. Why does the Tongan church do certain things that they do in the church? Do you understand everything that happens in a Tongan church or Tokai Kolo?
Yeah, I understand most of it.
You understand the meaning behind it and why they do what they do?
Yeah, not everything, but most things, certain things I do know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if I were to tell you that there is a podcast that actually can answer a lot of those questions, and it provides a platform for really the Tongan youth and young adults to learn more about the Tongan church and the purpose behind why they do what they do? Would you be interested?
That sounds very interesting.
That's great. So do you attend an English church, English speaking church, or a Tongan church? You're attending a Tongan. What's the name of your church? Okay, so can you tell me what Tokai Kolo means?
I think followers of Christ.
Followers of Christ?
Something similar to that.
Okay. So what does the Tokai Kolo church believe? Like, what's their doctrine?
What's it called? Our salvation in Jesus.
Okay, nice. Do you know what misinale means?
I think it's like a fundraiser for the church.
Fundraiser for the church. So do you know what they do with that money? When you want to get all of those funds, what do you do with it?
I think they use it for like other churches who need, or give it out to other people.
Nice. Very good. What does inasi mean?
I don't know.
Not really sure? Okay. Do you listen to podcasts?
Yes.
So can you tell me some of the podcasts that you listen to and why?
I listen to a lot of faith-based podcasts based on relationships, finances, and personal development.
What are the reasons why you listen to those podcasts?
I love hearing other people's perspective.
Okay. Now, have you ever heard of a podcast that is about church, culture, and then targeting young adults and youth?
I have not heard of a podcast with all of those things combined, but I have heard of podcasts individually.
So what if I told you that something like that exists? Would you be interested?
Yes, definitely.
That's great. Thank you so much. Can you tell me what your understanding of misinale means? What's a misinale?
I know it means missionary.
Okay, so if a Tongan church does misinale, do you know what's the whole purpose of a misinale?
There's a gathering. There's lots of food, lots of money. There's a person that's like a sea for misnale
Okay.
that receives it. Please don't quote me. I'm not
Okay.
a fake Tongan, I promise.
That's okay. So what is a misinale? What's the purpose of? What do they do with that money? Do you know?
I'm not too sure.
Okay. Do you know what inasi means?
I do not.
Okay. What's a whakawahe fonua? Do you know what that means?
I also do not.
Okay. How about aptanga? So when they have aptanga, different churches have aptanga, especially in the Tongan culture. Do you know what a aptanga means? What does that mean?
I know that it's around Easter. So
Okay.
when Christ rises.
Okay, so Easter aptanga. Do you know what the purpose of aptanga? They have it at the end of year, like for Tokai Kolo. What's your understanding of Tokai Kolo? What does the word Tokai Kolo mean?
I do not also know that either. So.
Okay, so if there was a podcast that would explain what all of these things mean, especially in a Tongan church, as a Tongan, even though you're growing up in a different country, would you be interested in learning?
I would.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering my questions. If you did not know the answers to some of those questions, there's no need to worry. I'm pleased to announce Vaine Mo'onia's Kitchen Podcast, also known as VMK's Podcast. Our first episode is debuting next week, and you don't want to miss it. Malo alele, my name is Nani, and I'm the leading host for VMK's podcast. VMK is a dedicated space where we get to have in-depth conversations, specifically targeting Tokai Kolo Church's youth and young adults group. The purpose of our podcast is to engage, educate, and encourage the youth and young adults. Are you ready to be encouraged, challenged, and spiritually fed? Well, I hope you're hungry because Vaine Mo'onia's kitchen is hot and we're ready to serve up some good food for the soul. Hope to see you there.